Do you even know who I am? My father doesn't just know the governor. He asks the state. You work for me, old man. Those words hang in the air like poison. The man who said them stands in Providence Municipal Court. His name is Brendan Ashworth. He's 26 years old. His suit costs $8,000. It's custom-made. Dark navy blue with thin silver threads. His shoes are Italian leather. Polished so much they reflect the courtroom lights. On his wrist sits a Patek Philippe watch. The price tag? $240,000. His hair is slicked back with expensive gel. He smells like cologne that costs $300 per bottle. Behind the bench sits Judge Frank Caprio. He's 78 years old. He's been a judge for over 3 decades. His face has deep lines. Lines from smiling at people. Lines from listening to their problems. Lines from trying to help when he can. Today, those lines look different. Deeper. Harder. If you believe that no one is above the law, not even the powerful, you'll want to see what happens in the next few minutes. Because what Judge Caprio does will shock everyone in this room, including Brendan Ashworth. The bailiff called this case 10 minutes ago. Case number 2025, TR 104729. The courtroom is packed. Every seat is full. People stand along the back wall. They're here for the case before this one. But nobody leaves now. Something feels different in the air. Electric. Tense. On the left side of the courtroom sits a woman. Her name is Angela Torres. She's 41 years old. She works as a school bus driver. Has been for 19 years. Every morning at 5:30 a.m., she starts her route. She picks up 47 children, takes them safely to school. Every afternoon at 2:45 p.m., she brings them home. She knows every child's name, knows which ones need extra patience, knows which ones have hard lives at home. Angela has 3 kids of her own. Miguel is 16. He works at a grocery store after school to help with bills. Sophia is 13. She babysits neighbors' kids on weekends. Little Carlos is 8. He doesn't know that his mom works a second job at night. She cleans office buildings from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. She sleeps 4 hours a night, maybe 5 on good days. Angela is here because of a parking ticket. She parked in a no-parking zone outside the pharmacy. She needed to pick up insulin for Carlos. He has diabetes. Type 1, the kind you're born with. The insulin costs $387 per month, even with insurance. She was inside for 8 minutes. When she came out, the ticket was on her windshield. $75. She couldn't pay it on time. Now it's $175 with late fees. She sits with her hands folded. Her clothes are neat but old. The same black pants she wears to drive the bus. A white shirt she ironed this morning. No jewelry except a simple cross necklace. Her mother gave it to her before she died. Angela's hands have calluses. From gripping the steering wheel. From scrubbing floors. From working. Judge Caprio just finished her case. He listened to her story. Looked at her record. Spotless. Not a single ticket in 19 years. He cut the fine to the original $75. Gave her 90 days to pay in installments. $25 a month. Angela cried. Said thank you 5 times. The judge smiled. Told her to keep doing the wonderful work she does. To hug her kids. To take care of herself. She starts to leave. That's when the courtroom doors burst open. Brendan Ashworth walks in like he owns the building. No, like he owns the city. His lawyer walks behind him. A woman in a gray suit. She looks nervous. Keeps glancing at Brendan. Keeps trying to catch his attention. He doesn't look at her. Brendan has his phone in his hand. Not just holding it. Actually using it. His fingers move across the screen. He's texting someone. Maybe posting something. Who knows? He walks right past Angela. Doesn't see her. Doesn't see anyone. The world exists to serve him. Mr. Ashworth, Judge Caprio says. His voice is calm. Professional. Please approach the bench. Brendan stops walking. Looks up from his phone. Looks at the judge like he just noticed a fly buzzing nearby. Annoying but not important. Yeah, give me a sec, Brendan says. Goes back to his phone. The courtroom goes quiet. Not regular quiet. The kind of quiet that happens before thunder. People shift in their seats. The bailiff, Officer Marcus Reynolds, stands up straighter. His hand moves closer to his belt. Not to his weapon. Just ready. Judge Caprio waits. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. 15 seconds. His face doesn't change. But his eyes do. They get sharper. More focused. Mr. Ashworth, the judge says again. Put the phone away. Now. Brendan sighs. Like a teenager being told to clean his room. He slides the phone into his pocket. Walks forward. His shoes click on the tile floor. Click. 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 Each step sounds loud in the silence. He stops at the defendant's table. Doesn't sit down. Stands there with his hands in his pockets. Relaxed. Like he's waiting for a coffee order. Are you represented by counsel? Judge Caprio asks. The woman in the gray suit steps forward. Yes, Your Honor. I'm Rebecca Morrison. I represent Mr. Ashworth. Thank you, Ms. Morrison. Please advise your client to sit down. Rebecca touches Brendan's arm. Whispers something. He rolls his eyes. Sits down. Sprawls in the chair. One arm over the back. Legs spread wide. Taking up space. Judge Caprio looks at the papers in front of him. His reading glasses sit on his nose. He's quiet for a moment. Reading. The clerk, Patricia Chun, sits to his right. She's been working in this court for 23 years. She's seen everything. Rich defendants. Poor defendants. Angry ones. Scared ones. But something about this one makes her uncomfortable. She can't explain why yet. Mr. Ashworth, Judge Caprio begins. You're here today for several violations. Reckless driving. Excessive speed. Leaving the scene of an accident. Failure to provide information. Driving with a suspended license. And, he pauses, looks up over his glasses, attempting to bribe a police officer. Brendan shrugs. Actually shrugs. That's what they say. Rebecca Morrison goes pale. She leans over. Whispers urgently in his ear. He waves her away like she's a mosquito. That's what the officer says in his sworn statement, Judge Caprio corrects. His voice stays level. Before we go further, do you understand the charges against you? Yeah. I understand that this is a waste of my time. A man in the gallery gasps. A woman shakes her head. Angela Torres, still sitting in the back, watches with wide eyes. She's never seen anyone talk to Judge Caprio like this. Nobody has. Judge Caprio removes his glasses. Folds them carefully. Places them on the desk. Mr. Ashworth, I'm going to give you some advice. Free of charge. The attitude you're showing right now will not help you. I suggest you show this court some respect. Brendan leans back in his chair. A smile plays on his lips. Not a nice smile. The kind of smile that says he knows something you don't. Respect? Your Honor, no disrespect, but I don't think you understand the situation here. Enlighten me, the judge says. My father is Senator Richard Ashworth. Majority Leader. Maybe you've heard of him. He chairs the Judiciary Committee. The committee that oversees the budget for courts like this one. So maybe we can just skip the lecture and figure out how much this costs to make it go away. The courtroom erupts. Not loud, but you can feel it. The energy shifts. People lean forward. Whispers start and stop. Officer Reynolds takes a step closer to the bench. Patricia Chen's fingers hover over her keyboard. She's not typing. Just frozen. Judge Caprio's expression doesn't change. I see. Ms. Morrison, does your client understand that what he just said could be considered? Your Honor, Rebecca interrupts. Her face is red. May I have a moment with my client? Make it quick. Rebecca grabs Brendan's arm. Pulls him close. Her whispers are harsh. Urgent. You can't hear the words, but you can see her face. She's terrified. Brendan listens for 3 seconds. Then pulls away. I'm good, he says out loud. To the whole court. Let's just do this. Judge Caprio nods slowly. All right. Let's review the facts. Officer Reynolds, please approach. The bailiff walks to the witness stand. Sits down. Patricia swears him in. He places his hand on the Bible. States his name and badge number. Badge 4719. He's been an officer for 14 years. Worked traffic enforcement for the last 6. Officer Reynolds, Judge Caprio says. Tell us what happened on the evening of November 3rd. Officer Reynolds opens a small notebook. Yes, Your Honor. At approximately 9:17 p.m., I was conducting speed enforcement on Hope Street near Blackstone Boulevard. It's a residential area. Speed limit is 25 miles per hour. School zone during the day. Lots of families. Kids riding bikes. People walking dogs. He pauses. Looks at Brendan. Brendan stares back. Smirking. I observed a white Maserati Gran Turismo traveling northbound. The vehicle was moving at high speed. I activated my LiDAR device. Got a reading of 71 miles per hour. That's 46 miles over the posted limit. I activated my lights and siren. Initiated pursuit. Did the vehicle stop? Judge Caprio asks. Not immediately, Your Honor. The Maserati accelerated. Ran a red light at Hope and Lloyd. Turned west on Lloyd Avenue. Drove through another red light at Gano Street. Finally stopped after I called for backup. The driver saw the second patrol car coming from the opposite direction and pulled over on Wayland Avenue. What happened when you approached the vehicle? Officer Reynolds flips a page in his notebook. I approached the driver's side. Asked for license and registration. The driver was the defendant, Mr. Ashworth. He refused to provide his license. Said, and I quote, I don't have to show you anything. Do you know who my father is? Brendan laughs. Actually laughs out loud. Come on. Like that's a crime. Judge Caprio raises one hand. Mr. Ashworth, you'll have a chance to speak. Right now you're listening. Continue, officer. I explained that refusal to provide identification is a violation. Mr. Ashworth then made a phone call. I could hear him talking to someone. He said, Dad, some cop is hassling me. Can you handle this? He then handed me his phone. The courtroom goes dead silent. Someone was on the line. Judge Caprio asks, Yes, Your Honor. A man who identified himself as Senator Richard Ashworth. He told me, quote, Officer, my son is a good kid. He made a mistake. I'm sure we can work this out. What's your name and badge number? I provided my information. He then said, I'll make sure this is handled. You can let him go with a warning. What did you do? I handed the phone back to Mr. Ashworth. Told him I still needed his license and registration. He got angry. Stepped out of the vehicle. Started recording me with his phone. Said he was going to post it on social media. Show how cops harass people. I remained calm. Requested backup again. Then what happened? Officer Reynolds looks at his notes again. Mr. Ashworth became more agitated. He said, and I have this in my report. Do you know how much I'm worth? I could buy this entire street. I could buy you. How much do you make? 50,000 a year. 60? I'll give you 100,000 right now to forget this happened. Just walk away. The gallery explodes. People shout. Someone stands up. Judge Caprio bangs his gavel 3 times. Order. I will have order in this court. Brendan is still smiling. He looks around the courtroom like this is entertainment. Like he's watching a show. Officer Reynolds, Judge Caprio continues. Did you interpret that as an attempted bribe? Yes, Your Honor. I informed Mr. Ashworth that he was now under arrest for attempting to bribe a police officer, reckless driving, excessive speed, refusal to provide identification, and failure to stop for emergency lights. I placed him in handcuffs. Read him his rights. Transported him to the station. Did he say anything else? During the ride, yes. He said his father would have my job by morning. Said I'd be lucky to work security at a mall. He called me several inappropriate names. I documented everything in my report. Judge Caprio nods. Thank you, officer. Ms. Morrison, any questions? Rebecca Morrison stands. She looks like she wants to disappear. No, Your Honor. Mr. Ashworth, is there anything you'd like to say about Officer Reynolds' testimony? Brendan stands without being told to. Buttons his suit jacket like he's about to give a speech at a fancy dinner. Yeah, Your Honor, I'd like to say that this is all blown out of proportion. So I was driving a little fast. Big deal. Nobody got hurt. And as for the bribe thing, that's not what happened. I was just trying to have a conversation. Trying to be reasonable. This officer clearly has something against people with money. Maybe he's jealous. I don't know. But this is ridiculous. You ran 2 red lights, Judge Caprio says. They were yellow when I entered the intersection. Officer Reynolds says they were red. Officer Reynolds is wrong. You offered him money to let you go. I was speaking hypothetically. Like metaphorically. I wasn't literally trying to bribe him. Judge Caprio leans forward. Mr. Ashworth, do you think I'm stupid? Brendan blinks. What? It's a simple question. Do you think I'm stupid? That I don't understand what words mean. What actions mean? No, Your Honor, You just what? You just thought that your last name would make this go away? That your father's position would protect you? Brendan's smile fades. Just a little. My father is a powerful man. Your father is not in this courtroom. You are. But he nothing. This is about you. Your choices. Your actions. Your responsibility. For the first time, Brendan looks uncertain. His lawyer touches his arm, tries to pull him back to his seat. He shakes her off. Your Honor, with all due respect, I think you need to understand something. My father has friends. Important friends. The governor, the attorney general, judges, lots of judges. This court operates because the state legislature approves its budget. My father controls what bills get voted on, what budgets get approved. So maybe, just maybe, you should think very carefully about what happens next. The courtroom goes nuclear. People shout. Officer Reynolds moves toward Brendan. Patricia Chen's mouth hangs open. Angela Torres puts her hand over her heart. Rebecca Morrison drops her pen. It clatters on the table. Judge Caprio stands up. Slowly. He's not tall. Maybe 5'7", but right now he looks 10 feet tall. His face is calm. Too calm. The kind of calm that comes before a storm. Bailiff, he says quietly. Clear the courtroom. Your Honor. Officer Reynolds, clear the courtroom. Everyone except the defendant, his attorney, you, Ms. Chun, and Officer Reynolds. Everyone else out. Now. People start moving. Slowly at first. Then faster. They file out through the double doors. Angela Torres hesitates. She wants to stay. Wants to see what happens. But Officer Reynolds gently guides her out. The doors close. 5 people remain. Judge Caprio sits back down. Folds his hands on the desk. Looks at Brendan Ashworth for a long time. Nobody speaks. The clock on the wall ticks. Tick, tick, tick. 30 seconds pass. 40, 50. Finally, Brendan shifts his weight. So are we. Sit down, Judge Caprio says. His voice is soft. Dangerous. Brendan sits. I've been a judge for 31 years, Judge Caprio begins. I've seen thousands of cases. Thousands of people. Rich people. Poor people. Good people who made mistakes. Bad people who never learned. I've seen people cry. Beg. Apologize. Threaten. Lie. But in 31 years, I have never, and I mean never, had someone stand in my courtroom and threaten the entire judicial system. I wasn't threatening. Be quiet. I'm talking. Brendan's mouth snaps shut. You stood here and told me that your father's political position should influence my decision. You suggested that my court's funding depends on how I rule in your case. You attempted to leverage power you don't even have. You tried to corrupt the process. And you did it with a smile on your face. Like it was normal. Like it was your right. Judge Caprio stands again. Walks around the bench. Comes down to the floor level. Stands 10 feet from Brendan. This never happens. Judges don't leave the bench during proceedings. But this isn't normal anymore. Brendan Ashworth, let me tell you something about power. Real power. Your father's power? That's political. It comes and goes with elections. With scandals. With polls. It's temporary. But the law is permanent. The law doesn't care who your father is. It doesn't care about your Maserati or your watch or your expensive suit. The law sees everyone the same. And in this courtroom, I represent the law. Brendan's face has changed. The smile is gone. His hands grip the armrests of his chair. His knuckles are white. Do you know what justice means? Judge Caprio asks. Brendan doesn't answer. It means fair treatment. Equal treatment. It means that a woman like Angela Torres, who you probably didn't even notice when you walked in, gets the same consideration as you. She works 2 jobs. She has 3 kids. She drives children to school safely every single day. She couldn't pay a parking ticket on time because she had to choose between that and insulin for her diabetic son. And you drove 71 miles per hour through a neighborhood where those children live, where they play, where they ride bikes. You ran red lights. You tried to buy your way out of consequences. And then you had the audacity to threaten me. Judge Caprio's voice rises. Not to a shout, but louder, stronger. You want to know what happens next? I'll tell you. Ms. Chun, please call Senator Ashworth's office. Patricia Chun looks confused. Your Honor. Call his office. Right now. I want him on speakerphone. Your Honor, Rebecca Morrison stands. I'm not sure that's... Sit down, Ms. Morrison. Or leave. Your choice. Rebecca sits. Patricia picks up the phone on her desk. Dials a number she looks up on her computer. The phone rings. Once. Twice. 3 times. Then a voice answers. Senator Ashworth's office, this is Jennifer speaking. Jennifer, this is Judge Frank Caprio from Providence Municipal Court. I need to speak with the senator immediately. Tell him it's about his son. Let me see if he's available. Silence. Hold music plays. Some classical piece. Mozart maybe. 2 minutes pass. Then a man's voice comes on the line. Deep. Confident. Used to being listened to. This is Richard Ashworth. Senator Ashworth, this is Judge Frank Caprio. Your son is standing in my courtroom right now. Do you have a moment to speak? Of course, Judge. I assume this is about the misunderstanding from last week. I appreciate you calling. I'm sure we can. Senator, let me stop you right there. Did you call Officer Marcus Reynolds on the night of November 3rd? Pause. I may have. My son called me. He was upset. I was trying to help. Help how? Just trying to calm the situation. Did you ask the officer to let your son go? Longer pause. Judge, I think I should probably consult with my attorney before. That's answer enough. Senator, your son just stood in my courtroom and threatened me. He suggested that my court's funding depends on how I rule in his case. He implied that you would use your political influence to retaliate if I don't give him special treatment. Did you teach him to behave this way? Now, wait just a minute. No, you wait. I don't care if you're a senator or the president. Your son broke the law. Multiple laws. And then he tried to corrupt a police officer and threaten a judge. I'm going to tell you exactly what's about to happen. I'm going to sentence your son. And you're going to listen. Because if you try to interfere in any way, I will file a formal complaint with the Judicial Review Board and the State Ethics Commission. I will refer this matter to the state police for investigation of possible corruption. And I will hold a press conference explaining exactly what happened in this courtroom. Are we clear? Silence on the phone. 10 seconds. 15. Then, crystal clear, Judge. Good. You can listen to the rest of this proceeding. Judge Caprio nods to Patricia. She adjusts the speakerphone so it can pick up the whole room. Judge Caprio walks back to the bench. Sits down. Puts his glasses back on. Looks at Brendan Ashworth. The young man's face is white. All the color has drained out. His hands shake. He looks at his lawyer. She looks at the table. Mr. Ashworth, stand up. Brendan stands. His legs are unsteady. I've heard the evidence. I've heard your testimony. I've heard your threats. Now you're going to hear my ruling. But before I give you the sentence, I want to make sure you understand something. You had every advantage in life. Money, education, connections, opportunities that most people can't even dream of. Angela Torres works 2 jobs and sleeps 4 hours a night. She still manages to be kind, to be responsible, to be decent. You have everything, and you act like you're owed even more. That ends today. Judge Caprio picks up a pen, writes something on a form. For reckless driving and excessive speed, I fine you $2,500. For leaving the scene of an accident, another $1,500. For driving with a suspended license, $1,000. For attempting to bribe a police officer, $10,000. For contempt of court based on your behavior today, $5,000. Total fines, $20,000. Brendan barely reacts. $20,000 is nothing to him. Pocket change. Your driver's license is suspended for 18 months. Not 90 days. Not 6 months. 18 months. You'll not drive any vehicle during that time. If you're caught driving, you'll be arrested immediately and face jail time. Brendan's face tightens. 18 months. He lives in the suburbs. How is he supposed to get around? You will complete 300 hours of community service. Not a charity gala. Not volunteering at your father's campaign office. Real service. Judge Caprio pauses. Looks at Officer Reynolds. Officer, you mentioned Hope Street is a school zone. Which school is that? Vartan Gregorian Elementary, Your Honor. Perfect. Mr. Ashworth, you'll serve as a school crossing guard at Vartan Gregorian Elementary School. Every school day, morning and afternoon, you will wear the reflective vest. You will hold the stop sign. You will help children cross the street safely. The same children who live in the neighborhood where you drove 71 miles per hour. You'll report directly to the principal. Ms. Chun, please coordinate with the school. Brendan's mouth opens. You can't be serious. I'm very serious. Every morning at 7:30 a.m. Every afternoon at 2:45 p.m. Rain, snow, heat, cold. You'll be there for the next 300 hours. That's approximately 6 months of school days. That's humiliating. Good. You need to be humiliated. You need to understand that you're not special. You're not above the rules. Those children have more value than your watch. Their safety is more important than your convenience. Judge Caprio isn't done. Additionally, you will personally apologize to Officer Reynolds. Not through your attorney. Not in a written statement. Face to face. You will look him in the eye and tell him you were wrong. Your Honor. I'm not finished. You will also write a 5,000-word essay on the topic of privilege and responsibility. You will research the concept of civic duty. You will explain what it means to be a citizen in a democracy. Not a subject. Not royalty. A citizen. You'll submit this essay to me within 60 days. I will read every word. If it's not satisfactory, you'll write it again. Brendan looks at his lawyer. Rebecca Morrison stands. Your Honor, these punishments seem excessive for what? For reckless endangerment? For bribery? For threatening a judge? Ms. Morrison, if you think these punishments are excessive, you're welcome to appeal. But let me tell you something. If this case goes to a higher court, they're going to see the transcript. They're going to read what your client said. They're going to hear about his behavior. And they're going to wonder why I was so lenient. Rebecca sits back down. There's more, Judge Caprio says. Mr. Ashworth, you will also serve 30 days in the county jail for contempt of court. Brendan staggers. Actually staggers backward. Jail? You're sending me to jail. Yes. Your behavior today was one of the most egregious displays of disrespect I've seen in 3 decades. You need to understand that there are consequences for your actions. Bailiff, take him into custody. Officer Reynolds moves forward. He has handcuffs in his hand. Brendan backs away. No. No. You can't do this. Dad, do something. Senator Ashworth's voice comes through the speakerphone. Brendan, just do what the judge says. Dad, he's sending me to jail. I know. I heard. There's nothing I can do. Brendan's face goes through a transformation. Shock. Denial. Anger. Then something breaks. His shoulders start shaking. Tears well up in his eyes. Real tears. Not manipulation. Not acting. Real emotion flooding through for maybe the first time in his life. Please, he says. His voice cracks. Please, Your Honor, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. You meant every word, Judge Caprio says. His voice is softer now, but firm. You meant it because you believed it. You believed you were special. You believed the rules didn't apply to you. Maybe this will teach you differently. Officer Reynolds reaches Brendan. Takes his arm gently. Brendan doesn't resist. He's crying openly now. Tears run down his face. His expensive suit is suddenly just cloth. His watch is just metal. His confidence is just gone. Your Honor, Brendan whispers. I'm scared. Judge Caprio's expression softens. Just slightly. Good. Fear is appropriate right now. Fear means you're finally understanding the gravity of what you did. Use that fear. Learn from it. 30 days isn't forever, but it's long enough to think, to reflect, to grow up. Officer Reynolds cuffs Brendan's hands behind his back. The metal clicks. Click. Click. Brendan flinches at each sound. One more thing, Judge Caprio adds. When you get out, when you finish your community service, when you serve your time, you're going to come back here. You're going to stand in front of me again, and you're going to tell me what you learned. Really learned. Not what you think I want to hear. What actually changed in your mind? If I believe you, truly believe you, I might reduce the rest of your probation. But if you're still the same entitled young man standing here today, you'll serve every minute of every requirement I've listed. Understood? Brendan nods. Can't speak. Just nods. Take him, Judge Caprio says. Officer Reynolds leads Brendan toward the side door. The door that leads to the holding cells. Brendan's shoes don't click anymore. He shuffles. Stumbles. Has to be held upright. The door opens. He looks back one time. Makes eye contact with Judge Caprio. The judge nods once. Not cruel. Not satisfied. Just certain. The door closes. Judge Caprio looks at the speakerphone. Senator Ashworth, are you still there? I'm here. Your son is going to be okay. But he needs this. He needs to learn that actions have consequences. That power comes with responsibility. That privilege is not permission to harm others. I hope you'll support this process. Let him face this. Don't try to rescue him. Long silence. Then, you're right, Judge. You're absolutely right. I should have taught him better. I should have been a better father. Maybe I gave him too much too soon. Maybe I protected him from consequences for too long. Thank you for doing what I should have done years ago. It's not too late for either of you. Be there when he gets out. Be different. Show him how to be different. I will. Good day, Senator. Good day, Judge. Patricia ends the call. Judge Caprio removes his glasses, rubs his eyes, looks tired suddenly, older than his 78 years. Ms. Morrison, you're excused. Please file whatever motions you feel necessary. Rebecca Morrison gathers her papers. Her hands shake slightly. Your Honor, for what it's worth, I think you did the right thing. I tried to warn him. I tried to get him to listen. He wouldn't. I believe you, Ms. Morrison. Sometimes people need to hit bottom before they can start climbing back up. You did your job. Don't feel bad. She nods. Leaves. Judge Caprio looks at Patricia Chun and Officer Reynolds. Open the doors. Let people back in. Officer Reynolds opens the double doors. The crowd flows back in. They've been waiting in the hallway, whispering, speculating. They take their seats quickly, quietly. Everyone can feel that something big just happened. Angela Torres sits in the same spot as before. Front row, left side. She looks at Judge Caprio. He catches her eye, smiles slightly. She smiles back. All right, Judge Caprio announces. Next case. 8 weeks pass. The calendar on the courtroom wall shows January 14th. It's a Tuesday. Cold outside. Snow fell last night. Not much. Just enough to make everything white and clean looking. The courtroom is full again. Not as packed as before. Just normal busy. People waiting for their cases. Some with lawyers. Some without. Some looking scared. Some looking bored. The bailiff calls a case. Case 2025 TR 104729. Return appearance. Brendan Ashworth. The doors open. A young man walks in. He's 26 years old, but he looks different. He's wearing jeans. Regular jeans from a department store. A plain blue button-down shirt. No designer labels. No jewelry except a simple watch. A Timex. $20 at Walmart. His hair isn't gelled. It's just clean and combed. His face looks different too. Thinner maybe. More serious. Lines around his eyes that weren't there before. This is Brendan Ashworth. He walks to the front. Stands at the defendant's table. His hands are folded in front of him. His posture is straight, but not arrogant. Respectful. Waiting. Judge Caprio looks up from his papers. Studies Brendan for a moment. Mr. Ashworth. How are you? I'm doing well, Your Honor. Thank you for asking. You completed your jail time. Yes, sir. All 30 days. How was it? Brendan takes a breath. Honestly, it was the hardest thing I've ever done. I was scared every day. I didn't sleep much the first week. I met people who had real problems, real struggles, people who made mistakes because they were desperate, not because they were careless like me. It changed how I see things. Judge Caprio nods. And your community service? How's that going? I've completed 187 hours so far. I have 113 left. I've been working at Vartan Gregorian Elementary, every morning and afternoon, like you ordered. What's that been like? Brendan's face softens. At first, I hated it. I thought it was punishment. And it was. But then something happened. I started learning the kids' names. Started knowing which ones needed extra help crossing. There's this one little girl, Emma. She's 7. She always carries too many books. Her backpack is bigger than she is. I help her cross every morning. She tells me about her day, about what she's learning, about her dog. He pauses, swallows hard. Last week, I found out that Emma lives on Hope Street, the street where I was racing that night. She rides her bike on that street. Your Honor, if I had hit her. His voice breaks. He looks down, takes a moment, looks back up. I would have destroyed her family, destroyed myself. For what? For fun? For a thrill? For showing off? It was so stupid. The courtroom is silent. People lean forward to hear better. I also met Ms. Torres, Brendan continues. Angela Torres, the woman who was here that day. She drives the bus for Vartan Gregorian. I see her every day. She waves at me, always smiling even though I know she's tired. I learned about her life, her kids, her jobs, And I realized something. What's that? Judge Caprio asks. She's a better person than I've ever been. She has a fraction of what I have. But she gives more. She cares more. She works harder. I had everything, and I was miserable and angry. She has very little and she's kind. That's when I understood what you were trying to teach me. Judge Caprio leans back in his chair. Tell me more. It's not about money. It's not about power or connections or what car you drive. It's about character. About how you treat people. About understanding that your choices affect others. I spent my whole life thinking I was special because of my last name. Because of my dad's job. Because of my bank account. But none of that makes you special. Your actions make you special. Your kindness. Your responsibility. I wasn't special. I was just lucky. And I was wasting that luck being terrible. Brendan reaches into his pocket. Pulls out a folded piece of paper. I wrote the essay you asked for. It's actually 7,000 words. I couldn't stop at 5,000. I had too much to say. I researched civic duty. I read about people who actually serve others. I learned about my privilege. Not just financial privilege, but privilege of safety, of education, of opportunity. And I wrote about what I should do with that privilege. He hands the paper to Patricia Chun. She takes it, passes it to Judge Caprio. I also want to apologize to Officer Reynolds, Brendan says. He turns, looks at the bailiff. Officer Reynolds stands near the side door. Same position as always. Professional. Alert. Officer Reynolds, Brendan says. His voice is steady but emotional. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry for how I treated you. You were doing your job. You were protecting people. You were upholding the law. And I tried to corrupt you. I tried to buy you. I treated you like you weren't worthy of respect. I was wrong. Completely wrong. You're a good officer. A good person. I'm sorry. Officer Reynolds nods. Apology accepted, Mr. Ashworth. Brendan turns back to Judge Caprio. Your Honor, I know I still have community service left. I'm going to finish it. Every hour. But I want you to know that it's not punishment anymore. It's something I want to do. I'm actually going to keep doing it after my hours are done. Principal Morrison asked if I'd consider volunteering once a week even after I'm finished. I said yes. Judge Caprio is quiet. He opens the folded paper. Reads a few lines. His expression doesn't change, but his eyes do. They get a little softer. A little warmer. Mr. Ashworth, I'm going to read this essay tonight. All 7,000 words. I'll let you know if it's acceptable. But based on what I've heard today, I'm inclined to believe you've learned something. I have, Your Honor. I promise I have. Your probation is scheduled to last for 2 years. If you continue on this path, if you complete your service, if you stay out of trouble, I'll consider reducing it to 1 year. But understand something. This isn't just about avoiding punishment. It's about becoming a better person. A person who uses their advantages to help others, not to hurt them. Can you do that? Yes, sir. I can. I will. Judge Caprio stands, comes around the bench again, walks down to Brendan, extends his hand. Brendan shakes it. The judge's grip is firm. I'm proud of you, Judge Caprio says quietly. This took courage. Real courage. Keep going. Brendan's eyes fill with tears. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for not giving up on me. For teaching me. For caring enough to be hard on me. That's what justice is supposed to do. Not just punish. Transform. Make things better. You're on the right path now. Stay on it. I will. Judge Caprio returns to the bench. Bangs his gavel once. Case continued for 90 days. Check-in hearing scheduled for April 14th. Mr. Ashworth, I'll see you then. Yes, Your Honor. Brendan turns. Walks toward the doors. Passes Angela Torres on the way. She's there for another matter. A follow-up on her payment plan. She smiles at him. Brendan stops. Ms. Torres, I'm sorry. I never said that before. I'm sorry for how I acted. For how I treated everyone that day. Including you. You didn't deserve to witness that. Angela stands. She's a small woman. 5'3", but her presence is big. She looks at Brendan. Really looks at him. Sees something different than what was there before. You're forgiven, she says simply. Just keep being better. I will. Thank you. He leaves. The courtroom returns to normal business. Next case is called. Life goes on. But something changed. Not just for Brendan Ashworth. For everyone who was there. Who witnessed it. Who heard about it later. 3 weeks after that hearing, the local newspaper runs a story. The headline reads, Judge Caprio's tough love, entitled son of senator gets reality check, emerges changed. The article goes viral, gets shared 47,000 times on social media. People comment. Most comments are supportive, praising Judge Caprio, praising the transformation. Some people criticize, say the punishment was too harsh, or not harsh enough. That's how it goes. But the real story isn't in the newspaper. It's happening quietly. Every morning at 7:30. Every afternoon at 2:45. At Vartan Gregorian Elementary School. Brendan Ashworth stands at the crosswalk, wearing a bright yellow vest, holding a stop sign. He watches for cars, helps kids cross safely. Emma still carries too many books. Brendan still helps her every day. Other kids know him now. They say hi. Some of them high-five him. He learns their names, their stories, their dreams. One morning, a car speeds through the school zone. Brendan gets the license plate number, reports it to Officer Reynolds. The driver gets a ticket. Justice served. Not from privilege, from responsibility. 6 months pass. Brendan completes all 300 hours of community service, finishes his probation requirements, pays all his fines, writes 2 more essays without being asked, volunteers at the elementary school every Wednesday morning, starts a scholarship fund for kids at Vartan Gregorian who want to go to college, contributes $50,000 of his own money, not his father's money, his own money he earned working at a job he got himself, at a nonprofit, helping at-risk youth. He applies to have his driver's license reinstated, goes through all the proper channels, takes a driving course, passes his test, gets his license back, sells the Maserati, buys a used Honda Civic. Reliable, practical, good on gas. No statement needed. His father, Senator Richard Ashworth, watches these changes, learns from them too, introduces a bill in the legislature, a bill about accountability for people in power, about ethics, about consequences. The bill passes, gets signed into law, named the Ashworth Accountability Act. Not because Richard wanted his name on it, but because his colleagues insisted. They said it took courage to admit failure and work to fix it. 1 year after the original sentencing, Brendan returns to Providence Municipal Court. Not because he has to, because he wants to. He brings Emma with him, and her mother, and Principal Morrison. And Officer Reynolds comes too, off duty. Angela Torres is there. She's become friends with Brendan. They have coffee sometimes, talk about life, about challenges, about hope. Judge Caprio is surprised to see them all. Court is in session. He calls a brief recess, meets with them in his chambers. What's all this, he asks. Your Honor, Brendan says, we wanted to thank you, all of us. You changed my life, but you also changed theirs. Emma feels safer going to school because she knows someone cares about the crosswalk. Principal Morrison says traffic violations in the school zone dropped 68% since my case got attention. Officer Reynolds says he's gotten letters of appreciation from parents. Ms. Torres says she feels like the community is more connected. All because you didn't let me get away with being a spoiled brat. Judge Caprio smiles. A real smile. You did the work, Brendan. Not me. I just pointed you in the right direction. You did more than that. You showed me that accountability isn't punishment. It's opportunity. Opportunity to be better. To do better. I wanted to show you that your time wasn't wasted on me. Emma steps forward. She's holding a drawing. Crayons on white paper. It shows a judge behind a bench. A boy in a yellow vest. Kids crossing a street. The sun is shining. Everyone is smiling. I made this for you, Emma says. Her voice is small but confident. Thank you for making our street safe. Judge Caprio takes the drawing. Looks at it for a long time. His eyes get wet. He blinks. Clears his throat. This is the best payment I've ever received for doing my job, he says. Thank you, Emma. That night, Judge Frank Caprio sits in his home study. The drawing is pinned to his bulletin board, right in the center. He can see it from his desk. He thinks about his career. 31 years on the bench. Thousands of cases. Some won, some lost. Somewhere he helped, somewhere he failed. But this one, this case, this young man, this feels different. Justice isn't just about punishment. It's about restoration. About taking something broken and fixing it. About taking someone lost and helping them find their way. Brendan Ashworth came into his courtroom as a villain. A rich kid who thought the world owed him everything. Who believed power meant he didn't have to follow rules. Who hurt people without thinking twice. He left as something different. Not perfect, not fixed completely, but changed, growing, learning, becoming. That's what justice should do. Judge Caprio writes a note in his journal. He keeps a journal. Has for 40 years. Documents important cases. Important lessons. He writes, "Today I was reminded why I do this job. Not for the salary. Not for the title. Not for the power. But for moments like this. When someone actually changes. When the system works the way it's supposed to. When consequences lead to growth instead of just bitterness. Brendan Ashworth will be okay. Better than okay. He'll be good. And maybe, just maybe, he'll teach his own children differently than he was taught. Maybe this changes 2 generations. Maybe 3. That's the real victory." He closes the journal, turns off the light, goes to bed. 2 years later, Brendan Ashworth graduates from law school. Not his father's alma mater. Not an Ivy League school. A state school. He worked for it, earned it, paid for half of it himself. Scholarships covered the rest. Scholarships for people who demonstrate commitment to public service. He applies for jobs. Not at big corporate firms. Not at his father's friends' offices. At nonprofits. At legal aid societies. At organizations that help people who can't afford lawyers. He gets hired by the Rhode Island Public Defender's Office. Starting salary, $48,000 per year. He takes it. Gladly. His first case is in Providence Municipal Court. Standing at the same defendant's table where he once stood. But this time he's on the other side. Representing a 19-year-old kid charged with reckless driving. A kid from a poor neighborhood. A kid who made a mistake. A kid who reminds Brendan of himself. Just without the privilege. The case comes before Judge Frank Caprio. The judge looks up from his papers. Sees Brendan standing there in a suit. Cheap suit, but neat and professional. Sees the briefcase. Sees the determination in his eyes. "Counselor Ashworth," Judge Caprio says, "welcome to my courtroom." "Thank you, Your Honor. It's an honor to be here." "I assume you remember this courtroom." "Very well, sir." "Good. Then you know I expect respect, honesty, and advocacy for your client. Can you provide that?" "Yes, Your Honor. I can. I will." "Then let's proceed." The case goes forward. Brendan argues passionately for his client. Presents evidence. Calls witnesses. Shows that the young man made a mistake, but isn't a danger. That he deserves a second chance. A chance to learn. To grow. To change. Just like Brendan got. Judge Caprio listens. Considers. Rules. He gives the young man community service. A fine based on his ability to pay. A suspended license for 90 days. And a warning. A stern warning about responsibility. About consequences. About the privilege of driving. The young man nods. Says yes, sir. Agrees to everything. Looks relieved. Looks grateful. After court, Brendan waits in the hallway. The young man comes out. "Mr. Torres," Brendan says. "Can I talk to you for a minute?" The young man stops. "Yeah. I was you once. Exactly you. I made mistakes. Worse mistakes than yours. Judge Caprio gave me a chance. He was tough on me. Really tough. But he was fair. He changed my life. Now you have the same chance. Don't waste it." "I won't, man. I promise." "Good. Here's my card. If you need help with anything, call me. If you need advice, call me. If you're struggling with the community service or the payments, call me. I'm here to help." The young man takes the card. Looks at it. Looks at Brendan. "Thanks, man. Seriously." They shake hands. The young man leaves. Brendan stays. Looks back at the courtroom doors. They're closed now. Court is over for the day. But through those doors is where his life changed. Where he learned what kind of man he wanted to be. He touches the door. Just once. A moment of gratitude. Then he leaves too. Back to his office. Back to his work. Back to helping people who need it. The story of Brendan Ashworth and Judge Frank Caprio spreads. Not just in Providence. Not just in Rhode Island. Across the country. It becomes a teaching case in law schools. An example of restorative justice done right. Of tough love combined with real opportunity for change. Judge Caprio receives awards. Recognition. Praise. He accepts them graciously. But he doesn't do it for awards. He does it because it's right. Brendan's story inspires other programs. Other courts start implementing creative community service requirements, focused on education, on connection, on understanding. Recidivism rates drop. Communities become stronger. Senator Richard Ashworth continues to serve, but differently, with more humility, more focus on helping people instead of accumulating power. He and Brendan rebuild their relationship. It's not perfect, but it's real, based on mutual respect instead of expectations. Angela Torres continues driving her bus, continues working 2 jobs, but her community supports her more now. People recognize her, thank her. Someone starts a GoFundMe to help with Carlos's medical bills. It raises $34,000. She cries when she sees it, cries because people care. Emma grows up, crosses that street safely every day for years, never gets hit by a speeding car, never experiences that trauma. She remembers Brendan, remembers his yellow vest, remembers that someone cared enough to stand there and protect her. When she's older, she becomes a teacher. Teaches at Vartan Gregorian Elementary. Helps kids just like people helped her. Officer Marcus Reynolds continues his work, continues treating people with respect, continues doing his job with integrity, never gets offered another bribe. Or if he does, he refuses, documents it, upholds the law, the way he was trained, the way he chose to be. And Judge Frank Caprio? He serves for 3 more years, then retires. At age 81, after 34 years on the bench. His last case is a parking ticket. A single mother who couldn't pay. He reduces the fine, gives her time, tells her she's doing a good job, that her kids are lucky to have her. She cries, thanks him. He bangs the gavel one final time. Court is adjourned. At his retirement party, people give speeches, share stories, laugh, cry. Brendan Ashworth is there. He gives a speech too. Judge Caprio saved my life, Brendan says to the crowd. I was on a path to destruction. A path where I'd hurt people, maybe kill someone, maybe myself. He stopped me. He held me accountable. He showed me that privilege means responsibility. That power means service. That justice means transformation. I'm not perfect now, but I'm better. And I'll keep getting better, because he taught me how. Judge Caprio listens, smiles, nods. After the party, after everyone leaves, he drives home. His wife is waiting. They have dinner. Talk about the day, about the years, about the life they built together. Later, he sits in his study, looks at his bulletin board. Emma's drawing is still there. Faded now. The edges are worn, but it's there, right in the center. He looks at it for a long time. Then he writes one final entry in his journal. Justice is not about revenge. It's not about being soft or being hard. It's about being fair, about seeing people as they are and helping them become what they could be. I don't know if I always succeeded, but I always tried. That's all anyone can do. Try, care, serve. The law is just words without people willing to uphold it with compassion and strength. I hope I did that. I hope I mattered. He closes the journal, puts it on the shelf with 40 others. 40 years of cases, of lives, of justice. He turns off the light. The drawing remains on the wall, visible in the moonlight coming through the window. A judge, a boy in a yellow vest, kids crossing a street, the sun shining, everyone smiling. That's what justice looks like. Money can buy many things. It can buy cars and watches and houses and clothes. It can buy comfort and convenience and luxury. But it cannot buy character. It cannot buy respect. It cannot buy the satisfaction of knowing you helped someone. It cannot buy the peace that comes from doing the right thing. And in Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom, for 34 years, it definitely could not buy justice. Because justice isn't for sale. It's not owned by the rich or the powerful or the connected. Justice belongs to everyone. The woman who drives the bus and works 2 jobs. The child who needs to cross the street safely. The officer who does his duty with integrity. The young man who made terrible mistakes but got a chance to change. Everyone. That's what Judge Caprio taught. Not just with words. With actions. With decisions. With courage. And that lesson will last far longer than any sentence. Any fine. Any punishment. It will last generations. Because Brendan Ashworth will teach his children. And they'll teach theirs. And the cycle of entitlement ends. Replaced by a cycle of responsibility. Because Emma will remember being protected. And she'll protect others. And the cycle of fear ends. Replaced by a cycle of safety. Because Officer Reynolds will train new officers, and they'll treat people with respect. And the cycle of abuse ends, replaced by a cycle of service. That's the real legacy. Not a case number, not a viral video, not a newspaper story. Real change in real lives. That's